It's Funky Friday!
It's time to get funky!
Woo! Hi guys, you are watching Funky Friday TV and it's our special Valentine's Day episode. So in honor of Valentine's Day, I am here with Braddock and Ehrlich. Thank you guys so much for letting me crash your jam session today.
Sure, it's our pleasure.
So, Scott, can you tell us a little bit about your group and what you guys do?
Yes, certainly. Well, Josh and I came together when we met in an all-male a cappella group called Voices of Gotham. And as everybody knows, there's nothing cooler than a bunch of guys up on stage singing and dancing. And so it was really the coolness of that brought us together. And frankly, what happened is one day we were drinking out at a bar after a show, and I left my credit card at the bar. Josh brought it back for me. I came over to get it. We started playing some Simon & Garfunkel together, and the rest is history. Now we're roommates, bandmates. That's about all we made. This is a true story. I'm serious.
Oh, wow. My next question is actually for Josh. A lot of people have asked me to ask you this. Josh was a part of Humans of New York, so I wanted to know if you could kind of,
Sure. Well, I'd been living in New York for over 5 years, and I thought it was about time that my humanity was acknowledged. And one day I was walking home wearing a suit because I had a concert that day with a big backpack on my back and a bunch of grocery bags on my arms. And this guy's like, why don't you put down your groceries? And I thought he was going to rob me and take my lettuce, but it turned out didn't want the lettuce, just wanted my picture for a popular blog called Humans of New York. And then about a week later, I didn't think anything of it. He also was like, hey, by the way, what do you do? And I said, I'm a music teacher. And he said, how does music relate to life? And then I talked at him for a very, very long time. And then about a week later, I found out that I was in this Humans of New York thing where he had edited my comments down to this really pithy little bit, sort of like you're probably going to do with this whole spiel, where he said, what do you do? I'm a music teacher. How does music relate to life? It's good to vary your tempo. And so I got a bunch of comments on it, and some of them were like, oh, I'd like him to vary my tempo, etc. And at the time, some of the students at my school made some defensive comments, like, he's our choir teacher, you can't be varying anybody else's tempos right now. And it was a pretty exciting time for me. So that's pretty much about that. Any other questions about that?
No, I'm glad I finally know the real story.
Good.
Okay, so I just have one last question for you guys before we hear some music. I'll start with Scott. So if you guys were to look at music as your teacher, what could it teach you about love?
Playing music has not only allowed me to express my love for the art, but has also allowed me to find love with those that I am playing for.
Nice. Josh, what would you say?
Well, I think that music and love are built of relationships, and that when you play music with somebody else, it's very clear if you're really connecting with them, if there's a sense of call and response in your phrasing, if you're listening to each other, or if you're kind of clashing, playing over each other, and just sort of talking and not listening. And I think the parallel to relationships is clear in both sort of physical and verbal ways that people express love towards one another. If there's kind of a nice give and take and a fluidity in the conversation, that's a really good thing. Whereas if people are just talking and not listening to each other and clashing, it's kind of a bummer and can be really frustrating. So I think both are about finding that clarity in your communication and the harmony they come with.
Nice. Good stuff.
Okay,
so you guys are going to get to see a little sample of what they've been working on. But until then, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching Funky Friday TV. Thank you guys for letting me crash again.
No big deal.
And for giving me tea. So until then, do you guys have any messages that you want to say to our viewers?
Have a Funky Friday! I've been made blue. I've been lied to. When will I be loved? I've been put down. I've been pushed round. When will I be loved? When I meet a new girl that I want for mine, she always breaks my heart in two. It happens every time. I've been cheated, been mistreated. When will
always breaks my heart.